Fear me, for I am your apocalypse. Today we're talking about the Eversor Assassin on Let's Talk Tactics.
Anvil of War! Let's talk tactics!
So where most assassins are silent killers that are going to carefully and methodically remove key targets from your enemy army, this guy has a little bit of a different approach. He likes to break down doors like the Kool-Aid man, run in, say, oh yeah, and start shredding stuff to pieces. So different indeed. One of my favorite past models, and I'm really excited about painting up a new one, which I'm in the works of. So we'll post up pictures on our social media. And hey, you know what? If you guys have a really cool painted, unique scheme of your Eversor Assassin, please check out our Facebook page, check out our Instagram, and tag us up so we can check out what you guys have done, because I'm looking for some inspiration. I'm just about to start painting mine. I actually also converted up a Adeptus Mechanicus one for my to run with my AdMech. So we'll be, again, releasing pictures of that on our social media soon as well, and probably doing a conversion corner video for it, time permitted. So today we are talking about the Eversor. Quickly going to run through some of their special rules. There's the basic special rule, which is lightning reflexes for these guys, which is gives them a 4+ innate invulnerable save. All the assassins have it. Also, he has the execution force special rule, which is essentially allows them to be included in a vanguard detachment for an army that is led by an Imperium warlord. So as long as there's an Imperium warlord somewhere in one of the detachments in your army, it allows you to take these guys in a vanguard detachment and not require a character in that detachment. They don't have to have a HQ slot. Sorry, I should say that, because he is a character. So yeah, anyways, it's basically going to give you the ability to get some flexibility and get these guys included in your army. I'm not a huge fan of this, I'll be honest. I think they should just kind of be like one of the assassins from one of the units from the Astra Militarum Codex, for example. They have the Auxilia, or they have the Aeronautica Imperialis, or whatever it's called for the flyers. They have those abilities to not hurt the overall detachment, and I think these guys should have something similar to that. I think as long as they're included in an Imperium army, they should just be what they are. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're also not expensive. I guess there would be a little bit of abuse for that, but I think if you put a cap of only one unit, the ability to only put one of those units in the army, it wouldn't affect it too bad. But if you have a different take on that, or if you think that it's good as it is, or if you think there should be another way to change it, please comment on the video below. Independent operative, also should mention that. Can't be your warlord. It also gives you the ability to deploy them into concealment, which is it's something that they're going to use. At 85 points, like I said, they're a good point value. I think this guy is probably, I would arguably say that the Eversor is probably the best assassin. I'm probably going to get some heat for that, but I think as far as like point value and what he can do, I think he's probably the strongest. He's amazing at killing enemy infantry. He will shred it, and we'll talk a bit more about that when we start getting into his statistics. Speaking of statistics, let's start talking about what he can do. So the Eversor Assassin comes in with a movement of 7 inches, which is standard for the assassins. It's a little faster than your basic human infantry of your typical Imperial armies. He's got a weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2+, both of which are really, really helpful. Not going to be missing a lot of the times. He's got a base strength of 4+, base strength of 4 and a toughness of 4, which again all the assassins have. He also has an extra wound on the other assassins. So where all the other assassins have 5 wounds, he actually has a 6th wound. And that's because I think they just thought about the fact that he's kind of madly throwing himself into the fray and getting right stuck in the middle of combat. So they gave him a little bit of an increase with that 1 wound, which is going to help. He also has a base of 6 attacks, where 2 of the assassins have 5, one of them has 4 in combat. He gets the mighty 6, so he's got the most attacks of all the assassins. And he needs it because, again, he's a whirlwind of death, and he's supposed to be charging into enemy infantry and just mulching them, so he's that guy. He's got a leadership of 9, which will help because he's getting up close. He's probably going to be close to some psychers. So if there's a specific rule or something that's going to affect him based on his leadership, high leadership is going to help. He's only got a 6+ save, but again, you're not worrying about that because he's got the 4+ invulnerable save, and you're going to be using that all the time. So let's get into this guy's equipment options, because they're pretty cool. So he's got the Neuro Gauntlet and the Exodus pistol. We'll talk about those first. He also comes equipped with a power sword, which is what you see is what you get. It's a typical power sword. No increase to his strength, AP -3, damage 1. I mean, his base strength is 4, so if you're attacking against infantry that has toughness 3, the Neuro Gauntlet, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but it has +1 strength, giving him a strength of 5, but it's only an AP -1. So the power sword is going to be used against stuff that's toughness 3, so that you're able to just chew it up, because the 5+ isn't going to increase you to wounding that stuff on a 2+, the toughness 3 stuff on a 2+. So the Neuro Gauntlet is going to be used more against stuff that is toughness 4 or toughness 5, and the power sword will be used against stuff that's toughness 3, because if you're looking for, I mean, -3 AP is going to be big against orc boys or something like that. With toughness 4, you're probably going to want to go for that strength 5 attack to wound on 3s. But yeah, let's get into that after. Let's talk about the Neuro Gauntlet a little bit. As I said, it's +1 strength. It's a single damage. I think that's probably one of the things that makes it clear that this guy's not really, I don't think he's really meant to target enemy characters as much. I think he's a lot better at clearing enemy infantry. If you're going up against like a horde spam army, he's really effective at that. I mean, he can, the math hammer on this guy, he can do a lot of damage and kill a lot of models if you roll hot. So seeing him charge into like a full squad of like orc boys or something and take out, you know, a quarter or half of the unit, and then have nothing, you know, attacking back at him, he might die. But I mean, if you take out half an orc boy squad, it's probably going to run or lose a lot of models in running, unless they're spending some command points. So and then there's some stratagems which helps him jump in and do it all over again. So you can arguably destroy a whole orc boy squad, or any other similar infantry squads in one go. So Neuro Gauntlet, kind of got off track there, but +1 strength, -1 AP, which is again good against stuff like lightly armored infantry, and then a damage of just the single damage. But the important thing to talk about with the Neuro Gauntlet is that you get to reroll your wound rolls with this thing. So +1 strength, wounding on 3s, then rerolling 1s and 2s. You're going to get a lot of hits with the weapon skill of 2+. Now you're going to get a lot of wounds with the wounding on 3s, rerolling. You can see where this is going. So yeah, he's got, he also has the Exodus pistol. Talk about that really quickly. It's a 12-inch range. It's pistol 4, so again, don't forget to use it in combat. 4 shots. Strength is only 4, AP -1, 1 damage, so it's kind of like the the Gauntlet. It's similar to it. The only difference with the pistol is that you are you get to reroll to wound rolls if the opponent is, and it has the infantry keyword. So just bear in mind that, and don't forget to use it. Like most people do with bolt pistols, etc. They kind of forget to use them in combat, so don't forget to do that. Yeah, so then he also has Melta Bombs, which is awesome. And there's one specific special rule that he has, which we'll get into in a few, that really complement the Melta-Bombs. I mean, if you don't know what a Melta-Bomb is, it's strength 8, AP -4, D6 damage. It only has a short range. I think it's only a 4-inch range. I think it's only 4-inch range. So 4-inch range, but strength 8, D6 damage. I mean, that's pretty awesome. So we got to kind of think about what situation you're going to be using it in. But I mean, if he gets stuck and there's no infantry around him, or you're in a situation where, you know, the pistol, you're more worried about charging and getting combat, and you don't want somebody to, you know, kill away a few models and make your charge distance harder, which again, he's got special rules for. But in the event that you want him to get a successful charge, and we'll explain why. So killing a few things with your pistol might not be the same as, you know, throwing a Melta-Bomb against this tank and then charging the infantry squad and doing some damage there. So he's got some tools and he's got some tricks, and the Melta-Bomb is just one of those. So talking about his special rules, we're going to jump in with the Bio Meltdown, which is the first one. If he is reduced to 0 wounds before you remove him from the table, every unit within, you're rolling a dice for every enemy unit within 6 inches. If he's really in the middle of it and you've got a lot of stuff surrounding him, it's going to be great. What happens is he essentially explodes, and somewhere Ken is editing this video, or was editing this video, and was screaming, "Does he explode?" Because he actually does. And yeah, every unit within D6 inches suffers D3 mortal wounds, which is awesome. You roll, it's a 4+, I think. It's on a 4+, which is still pretty good. There's a pretty high chance of it doing it. And yeah, enemy characters and stuff like that, you're getting to do that extra D3 mortal wounds is pretty cool. He's basically like a smite bomb. Yeah, so then also he's got the Sentinel Array. What the Sentinel Array does is each time an enemy model falls back, whilst within 1 inch of this model, it can immediately make a shooting attack against that unit as if it were the shooting phase. So you get to fire at your full ballistic skill, so you're hitting on 2+, the enemy unit falls back, and you're going to get to make free shots against it, so with your Exodus pistol. Now where this gets a little fun and kind of funny is when you charge in, if you decide to, for whatever reason, if you decided to charge a enemy vehicle with this, say you show up, you charge in to an enemy vehicle, you've locked it in combat, they try to fall back, you can throw a Melta-Bomb against that vehicle, which is pretty awesome. Again, also, when the enemy is falling back, if it's like a character or something, you can throw a Melta-Bomb against the character. So, I mean, it's kind of fun. It's situational, but it's fun if you get to overwatch with Melta-Bomb when the opponent's falling back on their turn at your full ballistic skill. Yeah, that's cool. So then you got the Phrason special rule. The Phrason special rule, what it does is it's basically chemicals and just buffs them up, makes them killing machines, and they just get like, it's like stim injections. What it does is it gives them the ability to charge 3d6 inches, so they have a 3d6 charge, which is awesome. When they're showing up 9 inches away from the enemy models on the turn 2, and then you're getting a 3d6 charge, you're way more likely to make it in. The average, I think, on 3d6 would be 10 or 11, I think, 10 or 11 inches, so you're almost guaranteed going to get that charge off. And in addition, you're also going to get +2 attacks to their attack characteristic as part of this special rule, the Phrason special rule. And what it's going to do, yeah, you get 2 attacks if they charge, if they successfully charge. So with 3d6, you're more likely to get in to a charge, and once you do, you're getting 2 additional attacks, bringing them up to a total attacks of 8, which is, again, really good at just mulching enemy infantry. If he's going one-on-one against an enemy character, this actually mitigates the fact that he only has the damage 1 weapons, because you're now going to possibly get 8 wounds, or sorry, 8 attacks with a high chance of hitting, a high chance of wounding if they're an infantry. Well, actually, for the Neuro Gauntlet, it doesn't really matter, but they get the +1 strength. If it's got like a no invulnerable save, he can just chew up that character. So something to kind of be watchful for. You want this guy charging every turn that you can, if possible. And then in addition, he's got the killing. The last and final rule, special rule for this guy is the killing Rampage special rule. Each time an enemy model is slain as a result of an attack made by the model, this model can make an additional attack, immediately make an additional attack against the same unit. So what he can do is, with his 8 attacks on the charge, high chance of hitting, high chance of wounding against enemy infantry, like orc boys or something. You know, there's a good chance you're going to take out 6 to 7 models. You're going to get another additional 6 to 7 attacks. It's important to remember that those attacks can't generate any additional attacks. So, and also on top of that, just as an added bonus, because all of his rules seem to have like this. It does this awesome thing, and it does this awesome thing. It also gives him the ability to consolidate in combat 6 inches instead of 3 inches, which is good at getting him to jump either into cover or jump like behind an enemy model, or to jump and engage another unit. Because if you consolidate into another unit, yes, they're going to be able to swing at you, but now they're engaged in combat. So neat little trick would be to charge them into the infantry, kill a bunch of infantry or most of the infantry, consolidate them 6 inches in, and then we're going to use a stratagem. So now we're going to talk about the stratagems for these guys, and we'll talk about just how cool this guy can get at killing infantry. So when we first start talking about this guy's or the stratagems for assassins in general, we have to talk about the 2 generic ones. So first one is the Requisition Sanctioned, which is spending command points to include this guy in an army as long as you have the reinforcement points set aside. So if you have 85 points set aside and you're running a competitive list and you're going up against an opponent that has a lot of infantry in their army, this is a good guy to just kind of plug in and play. You're going to throw this guy on the table and he's going to deal with a lot of the hordes that you're facing. The command points for this, the initial command points have gone up from FAQs. This might change. We're kind of hopeful. I'm hopeful that it changes, but still worth it in my opinion. It's still it's not too many command points that you're not really thinking about using him anymore, or using this specific way of including an assassin in your army. The other one is the priority threat neutralize, which is when you kill an enemy character, you can spend a command point, and you're going to gain 2 command points back if he did the killing blow on that character. So again, he's more suited for killing enemy infantry, but in the event that you can dish out like 8 attacks on a charge against a like an ethereal, Tau ethereal or something like that, and you just want to pop it and kill it in 1 round of combat, he probably could do that. And that being said, he's going to be able to consolidate 6 inches into another target or tie something else up. But one thing with this guy is that with the priority threat neutralized, you can only use it once per character. I think that's pretty self-explanatory because you're killing the character anyways as it is. And you're getting the 2 command points, and if it's the enemy warlord, you're getting 3 command points, so that's pretty cool. Finally, we have the Eversor specific stratagems, Stim Overload, which is awesome. What it does is you can pick a Eversor that has already fought that turn. It's 2 command points, but it allows them to fight again. So with a 6-inch consolidate, you can jump back in and strike all over again. With the where this is really crazy is it stacks up with the 8 attacks that he has on the charge. If you're using it in the fight phase and he charged that turn, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I believe that means that he still gets the +2 attacks even in the second round of fighting, because he did technically charge that turn. And what this does is, so that means another additional 8 attacks that you're dishing out with hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, typically if you're using the right weapon versus right target, wounding on 3s, rerolls to wound if you're using the Neuro Gauntlet, And then, yeah, and then the exploding attack. So your hits, or you're killing models and you're getting additional attacks. So you can see how you can take out a big enemy infantry squad with like relative ease. Yeah, it just kind of gets interesting. The final stratagem for the Eversor that's specific to him is the Hypermetabolism. What this does is you use it at the beginning of a phase, so fight phase, or well, charge phase, or sorry, fight phase, shooting phase are the two ones that you're going to want to use it. And what it does is it allows him to get a 4+ feel no pain until the end of that phase. So on a 4+, he ignores wounds, so 4+ invulnerable save, 4+ feel no pain, makes him quite a bit more durable. So after you charge in, I mean, you're going to be throwing up quite a few command points on this guy just to get him doing what you want him to do and grinding through the enemy hordes. But when he gets that first charge off, kills a bunch of models, gets extra attacks because of those because of those models that you killed, fights again because you're going to use the one stratagem, and then using the Hypermetabolism on your opponent's turn to keep him in the fight for another round of that, potentially another round of him charging and doing that, consolidating 6 inches. It all stacks up to make a really, really scary unit. Again, all assassins are kind of a situational take, but I think the Eversor is probably the one assassin that will always kind of shine in any list against any opponent. His ability to jump in with an infantry squad. I mean, you're looking at like an intercessor squad or something like that where they've got 2 wounds a model. You might get into a little bit of trouble, but I still think he'll be able to kill off enough models and do some attacks that he's going to get his 85 points worth back pretty quickly. It's just about picking targets with him and making sure that you don't get him stuck in a situation that he doesn't want to be in. Or go the other way and get him really stuck in a situation he doesn't want to be, and just watch that mortal wound bomb go off and laugh maniacally. Thanks, guys.
Sponsored by...
Thanks for watching Anvil of War Gaming. If you guys want to support the channel and keep watching us grow, then click the subscribe button located here. Also, check out some more of our videos. Quick fix.